Hey, if you're not converting 10% of your database every single year into new clients, you need to check out this video, 3 steps to database domination. We're gonna go over building, working, and growing your database so it produces deals every year. Let's jump into it. Hey folks, check this out. I recently did a survey in 2 Facebook groups of over 200,000 agents. I asked them, what was the last way you got your most recent listing? And the number one way people got listings in this market was by working their database. So this is a really big priority for anyone looking to do business right now. You have to have a database, but it's not enough to just make one. You have to learn how to work it effectively so it generates deals, it generates referrals, it generates business for you. That's why I decided to make this video. We're gonna go over the 3 steps to make that happen. Step number 1, you have to build your database. Folks, this is where most people stop and they don't make any progress. They get stuck deciding who goes in their database, who doesn't, what tools should I use, how should I get started. Do not make this overcomplicated. Use this simple rule. People should be in your database if you call them or texted them or DM'd them on social. They would know who you are. If someone knows who you are, if you call, text, or message them, that person should be in your database. That covers your friends, your family, co-workers, friends from school, etc. Anyone that knows you, knows who you are, should be in your database because they can be a source of potential business for you. An easy place to start to build that database is your phone's contact list. Really easy. You've got people's names already in there. You've got their phone numbers. Use a tool. There's a lot of them free online. You can Google it. Take out those contacts from your phone and drop them into an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet. It doesn't matter. Put them in there and put them under name, phone, email, and home address. You're not going to have that for everybody, but you should at least have a phone number or an email for every single person that goes in your database. Then do the same thing with your social media account. It doesn't matter which one. Your email address book. Get as many people in there as possible and really stretch yourself. If you are doing this for the first time, you should have at least 200 people in that database just to get started. I interviewed a really successful agent, Brett Boone, over 300 transactions per year. And to get someone to join his team, they have to first create their database and have at least 200 people in there with name, phone, email, and home address. If they can do that for brand new agents, you can definitely do that. Whether you're a new agent or a more experienced agent, you should be able to get at least 200 people initially into that database. All right, that brings us over to step number 2. This is one of the most important ones. It's not enough to just build a database. That's not gonna get you over the hump. You have to effectively work it. That is how it's gonna convert, at least at a 10% rate. When I first started in real estate, my first 3 years, I started with a database a little above 200 people, and I would get 10 to 15% conversion rate every single year. That database would generate between 20 and 30 transactions for me year over year. It wasn't a coincidence that happened. I worked my database very effectively, and I'm gonna share that plan with you right now. The number one thing you have to learn about working a database is that you want multiple points of contact throughout the year. That can take the form of an email newsletter. It can be just one email newsletter per month just to keep you top of mind with your entire database. That's very easy to do. Today, I've built up my email newsletter to almost 3,000 people, and I'm emailing it 2 to 3 times every single week. So I'm really effectively driving it, but I didn't start there. I started with 1 email per month. I jam-packed it full of value, and I sent it to everyone I knew, talking about the industry, about what I did, and how we could help them out. Another really effective way to make sure you're interacting with everyone in your database is make sure you're following them on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is you use, get them on there and interact with them. Those count as touches as well. You can like their content, comment on them. You can join groups and answer questions. Position yourself as an expert. You can go live on your profile and talk about the market. Always be thinking of how you can add value to your audience. Answering common questions people have when they're thinking about buying or selling a home. Questions people have about the market. How is that affecting them? You can even go as far as to just talk about your local community. What's going on, upcoming events. Always think about value first, and business will follow. Trust me on that. The most important thing you have to do with your database to work it effectively is call it. You have to make those phone calls. It's unbelievably important that those happen on a regular basis. You can definitely text your database, DM them on social media. That's fine. But those texts and those DMs need to lead to a two-way conversation, preferably on the phone or a Zoom call or a FaceTime, because that is the most effective way to have a conversation with someone and ask them for help in building your business. One of the things that made it easier for me to call my database was that I always had something massively valuable to offer them first before asking for any business. We made sure to call our database every 3 months, 4 times per year, and it always coincided with an event we were inviting them to, a giveaway we were doing, something valuable, something useful for them. So it was a lot easier to pick up that phone and say, hey, it's Gus, just checking in with you. I wanted to invite you to my next event. These events can be something as simple as a class held in your office, an online class for first-time home buyers, home investors, etc. It could be something as simple as that. Just make sure you're always thinking about your audience and making something valuable. It could be an ice cream social. Once I had more budget in my business, I started inviting my whole database to come to the skating rink for a party, hors d'oeuvres at a local restaurant, etc. But you can always start small, because here's the punchline. The event itself, the valuable thing you're giving them, doesn't really matter that much, because the point is to make sure you're always asking them for help building your business. I call this part of the script the ask. And if you really want to grow that database and get the conversion rate, you have to make the ask as the last part of that script when you're talking to your entire database. And that script goes something like this. Hey there, Mr. Lead. Great checking in with you. I've just got one huge favor to ask. I need your help, as always, building my business. Who do you know that might be thinking of buying or selling real estate in the next year? You can think of anybody from work, from church, any family members, anyone you think might need some help. I would love to help them out. Who can you think of? And that's it, folks. That is it. That is the ask. And that simple line, that simple script, doing that 200-300 times, 4 times a year will get you referrals like clockwork, because a lot of these folks already know, like, and trust you. A lot of them want to help you build your business. If you deliver that line to everyone in your database, you will be surprised how many people will want to help you, how many people, a few of them, will be enthusiastic about helping you out and building your business. Those people are your advocates, your ambassadors. The crazy thing is, it's difficult to tell beforehand who those people are going to be. You've got to put yourself out there, show a little bit of humility, vulnerability, and ask for that help, because you will be surprised how many people will take you up on that and help you build your business. That brings us to step number 3. Once you realize that building a database and working it effectively can be a huge engine of your business, then it all comes down to step number 3, which is feed it. You need to constantly be feeding and putting more people into that database. And here's a tip. Here's some knowledge that I gained the hard way. One thing I did not do, I neglected to do initially in my career, was add all the people that I knew across the country into my database. And a lot of these folks lived outside my area, which is Washington State, Seattle. A lot of people I knew in California and Texas, Northern Virginia, they would send me referrals because they saw I was in real estate, but I never effectively marketed to them. And I never asked them for business. They would give it to me anyway. If I would have put all of those folks in my database initially, my results would have been twice as good, faster. So make sure you put everyone in your database. You're always feeding it with people you know, regardless of where they are, because they can refer you business even if you don't live in the same city, county, or state. Once you get into the mindset of having to grow your database, put a goal, a daily goal. I had a goal for my team. They had to add one new person into their database every single day of the week, whether that was from an open house, from door knocking, from standing in line at Starbucks. It didn't really matter. I had a great conversation with Ed Boulanger, massive producer out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and he moved to Charlotte from Boston. So he became a brand new agent in a brand new city. And one thing he did to effectively build up his database ASAP was he printed 1,000 business cards and set a goal to give away 20 of those business cards every single day. I love that story because it's so intentional and so smart. He found a way to show gratitude, and he would tell people, hey, I want to return the favor to you. I'm so grateful for this thing you did for me. If you ever need anything regarding real estate, whether it's a plumber, help on your property taxes, whatever it is, here's my card. I want you to think of me because I want to help you out. Thanks. He did that 20 times a day, and within 90 days, he was getting messages and callbacks from those folks. If you add people every single day to your database, you can make big progress very quickly. You can also start more conservatively. One person per day. One person per day can definitely move the needle. If I would have done that, I would have doubled the size of my database in my very first year. Do not make the same mistake I did. The only people I added to my database in my first 3 years in real estate were just my past clients. So I closed almost 100 deals. So I went from a database of 200 people to a database of 300 people in 3 years. I should have gone from 200 to 500 in 1 year. My business would have blown up so much faster. Folks, I hope that you don't make the same mistake I did and add people into your database regularly. That's it for today, folks. I actually have a 1-hour version of this class that I teach. If you're interested in that, I'll invite you to the next one. Drop a comment below and I'll share those details. Hopefully, this has been very useful for you guys. If you enjoyed this video and thought it was valuable, please crush that subscribe button. We release a new video jam-packed with value every single week.